Good morning, guys. Hope you had a very good weekend. Long weekend. I'll just recap what we had done so that you will get onto that track. So we seen the CI pipeline, right? Build pipeline, for example, .NET application. Of course, it doesn't matter how big is the application. It only matters the project. Okay. And then we started talking about SonarQube, and we seen how to, set it up on a server. But we will not be using that one in our demo because my laptop is not accessible over internet, and I do not have any URL for my Sonar. It is a local host, so I cannot access it over internet. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use Sonar Cloud. So it is an online version of your Sonar basically. That way you are having Azure DevOps online, which is a PaaS version, and you have Azure DevOps, right? In the similar way, you have the Sonar Cloud as well. There is no difference. Exactly everything is same. The way you work, the features, everything is same. So for our demonstration purpose, we use Sonar Cloud, and then we see all these things like how do you create the tasks to do the code analysis, code coverage, and how do you enable the what is it code quality gates? Okay, all such stuff we will be seeing it today. So my subscription is being expired. So yeah, it doesn't matter for you. So we thought, so since you already know all these things, I'm just directly getting into the task basically.
Yeah, hi, Punakandra. This is Manoj actually. Sorry for interruption.
Yeah, Manoj.
Yeah, in last session actually the service of SonarQube must be started. Now, then only we can access it from browser. But you did not actually tried, but I have searched for that. I have started the service explicitly. Then only I able to start SonarQube from browser.
Wait. Probably that was my miss. Let me go to my. It's SonarQube. Okay, sorry, I missed it actually. We have the service because I'm already been running for a couple of sessions. I'm using it one, right? Probably I missed it. So, but because mine is automatic service because I don't want to run it every day because it doesn't consume any resources. So you can do that one. So that's in your bin actually. Thanks, man. So let's get into our. If it doesn't open, just go to the bin folder. So you have the conf folder. In the same way, you have the bin folder. Under you have, since it is a SonarQube supports all the operating systems, you will see all the folders for Linux, for Mac, for Windows. And we are using Windows system. So go to the Windows folder and you see that services as simple as. So I'm using a new ID from today. Subscription is being expired. Let me go and create a. I think I already created one project. Okay. This is not a new, just a regular .NET application. So what we do today, we will configure Sonar Cloud with this one, and we will add the task like prepare SonarQube analysis, and we'll run the code analysis. And we also publish the results back to the SonarQube dashboard so that everyone can see it. Okay, this is our regular, .NET MVC application. So it's not into the source control. So I'm just going to add it to the source control. So it's done. Let's publish it to the Azure. So this is the account I'm going to use, hasura86@hotmail.com, and I'm going to use the same repository name. Let's publish it. Then I directly open from here so that I don't need to again open browser. ID. Okay. So since this is a new one, I'm just going to create a pipeline as well quickly. I use a classic editor. Continue. And I take a ASP.NET. Right. I'm not spending much time here because we already know it. I'll just give a nice name here. You can give any name. I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I'll leave as it is all these things because I don't need to change anything. It's a sample application. So let's save it. And then queue it. While it is building, let me open Sonar Cloud. So we, as I told you, we are using online version of Sonar Cloud. I mean, Sonar Cloud. This is called Sonar Cloud actually. So you can access it using sonarcloud.io. Sonarcloud.io is the URL. So as you see in the home page, right? So either you can connect with the GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, or Azure DevOps. It is supporting all famous. The reason it is supporting, I mean, they want seamless integration with the other products. Because what happens if it is online, again you need to make a lot many configurations that people do not prefer it. Because instead of doing configuration changes on the online, they can do setup on their own machines, right? That's the reason. I mean, all these guys work together to make it a very, I mean, seamless integration. So we generally connect with Azure DevOps because we are using Azure DevOps pipelines. So I will not connect from here. So I will show it directly from the pipeline itself. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, good. So our pipeline is, I mean, successfully completed. I mean, as you see, you can see the artifacts. I mean, artifacts means your code is being compiled and it generated some whatever it is based on the project type. It can be exe, whatever it is. You will have the HTML files or some configuration files, etc. I mean, this is what you see. All these, I mean, you don't need to worry. I mean, if you I mean, this is basically some PowerShell script that uh, uh, pipeline creates. I mean, before these pipelines were available, right, we used to create these things manually. Everything was manual, and now it is creating automatically once, I mean, with the one click basically. Okay, now let's go to build definition and edit it actually. So before we go there, so we told you these are the tasks that we need to use it, right? So the first one is prepare analysis for SonarQube. It is like, no, you are setting up the environment for your job to run actually. So first we will set up the task. So how do you add a task? You go to the, I mean, this is the agent job. You can name it anything. I mean, there is no sonar cube. I mean, there is no. I mean, you can use anything, any name. It is just for your reference basically. If you are having, let us say, if you are having database jobs, so you want to name it differently so that you can use it. You can reference it easily. So you go to this job and click on the plus symbol, and you will get so many pre-installed tasks. And if you don't find anything, you just go and search for it. Sonar. So you see a couple of symbols. This is blue color lines, right? This is basically deprecated. This is very older version. I mean, they themselves mention it here, deprecated. So that means they don't give any support. Whoever is using it already, they can continue using it, but any new features will not be added to that one. So when you're starting a new project, don't use that actually. And so as I told you, I'm going to use Sonar Cloud, and you see the symbol here, Sonar Cloud. Okay, I'm going to use this since this is not available in my organization. It is saying get it free. I mean, if it is paid, it will show you paid. So first I need to install it into my pipeline. I would say into my organization, DevOps organization. So I mean, this all the extensions installation is straightforward. I mean, you don't need to do anything. Let's get it free. So this is a very important step in any DevOps, whether you are using Jenkins or GitLab or Azure DevOps, anything, right? This is a must and should activity. So many people do not follow it. Okay, let's install it. But this is a best practice. This is why we are having the DevOps. If you don't measure the quality, then there is no use of having DevOps in place. So I'm all set. Let's proceed to the organization. I'll just close this because it's in a different one. Now I'll go and refresh my task list. So now I have 3 tasks already available here: prepare analysis, run code analysis, and publish quality get result. Okay, let's go and add prepare analysis configuration. Add it. And remember, you need to keep this task before build solution task. So because we are setting up the environment, right? So if you take the build solution, we are setting some environment. What is that? We are keeping NuGet task because it needs some dependencies. In the same way, to do the code analysis, you need to do some environment setup, that is prepare analysis, that you keep it before the build solution task. So just drag and drop. It's all drag and drop. That's it. And now on the right side, you see, I mean, display name, you can keep anything. And then Sonar Cloud Service Endpoint. This is the, this is the URL of Sonar Cloud. So, I mean, in the last class, we created a project in the Sonar Cube, right? In the similar way, now we will create a project in the Sonar Cloud. So right now, I'm not going to create a new connection here. First, I'll create a project there. Yeah, this is how it works, right? You first do all the administration stuff, and then you come to the execution part, right? So I will go and now create a in the same way how we done earlier. So we went to the Sonar Cube, created an organization, and then created a project, and there was key something, right? And we do that same. So here in the Sonar Cloud, either you can click on plugin. Since I'm using Azure DevOps, I go and click on Azure DevOps. So since I already logged in to my Azure DevOps, it identified it actually because it is having tight integration. Okay, so it would like to access my one. Okay, I'm saying fine because I mean that is the account I wanted to use it as. Okay, so you can create a new. This is the first time that it is asking. You can create, or you can go to the account and then create. Let's quickly create because you already seen it. Create a new project. So there are no organization, right? We haven't created because this is a very fresh one. Let me give the same name. Hasura, I said. Create another organization, and this, just for a naming convention, I'm just giving org actually. Okay. Let me copy it. Continue. And I'm using the free plan. That's it. And then create an organization. Okay. Now the organization is done. Now we will go and use create a project actually. Okay. We have this Hasdor. Let's go and give the same key name. I mean, you can give anything, but I'll change the display name. The name, I use the name that I'm using it here, right? This is for an easy reference. That's it. And I'm not going to make it public. Public means when you log into the Solar Cloud, right, you can see many projects results basically. Because some people do the open source contribution, right? They keep it open. And the way you see in the GitHub, right? In the same way you can see on the Solar Cloud as well. Since I mean we are just demonstration, it is not giving me an option. Let it be public. That's okay. We will change it later. Okay, now my project is being created in my organization Hasura now. Now what I'm going to do, I have to integrate this project with my build pipeline. Okay, right now if you see you don't see any code. I mean now I am in the project, right? .NET DevOps demo project inside my Solar Cloud. Let's go and verify. The code, there is nothing because we haven't published any code, I mean any results from the build pipeline. Once we publish some build results from the build pipeline, it will even push the metadata of the code as well. You can see the code here as well. Okay, right now everything is empty. So what you have to do now, you need to create a key, right? You need to create a key, otherwise it cannot do. So let's go and click on profile, and then you can go to the my account or you can go to the organization. So as soon as you go to there, and you will have the more number of options here. Okay, because you are administering the project now, and everything is empty here. Project is not configured, analyzed for analysis. And then go to administration, and there is a security actually. My account, and then go to security. I don't remember. Let me give a key name. You can give any name. This is the key that I'm going to use it in my pipeline. Okay. I simply say Purna 8 AM. Basically, based on this one, it will generate the key. Click on generate. Okay. Now a key is being generated. I'll copy this one. Click on the copy. Done. Okay. Let's come back to my DevOps, Azure DevOps. I don't have any Sonar Cloud endpoints now. So let's go and create a new. Let's click on new. The cloud token, I'm just going to give now. I just pasted it. Verification succeeded. And the name, this is just a reference, and we can give anything. Sonar Cloud connection. We can give anything. So that's it. And then verify and save. So I created a connection. Now let's click on the organization dropdown. So I got my organization. Okay. Since we are using .NET, so we will go with integrate with MS Build only. Now, you have to give the project key. I told you we need to use the project key. That's what we created there. So what did we create? If you don't remember also, that's not a problem. This is the token actually. So you can go to the projects. Organization. And this is a project you created. Should be available somewhere here. Okay. We are using the same key, right? Hasura actually. Let me give the key name. Okay, good. And then project name, I'll give the same project name. So this is the one I taken, right? I can copy paste the same thing again. Okay. So let's not get into the advanced immediately. Let's see how it works actually. Okay, let me go and save. Then now I queue the bill. You see, go to home page. So now it only prepares the environment. It will not publish any results back to your Sonar Cloud because we haven't run the code analysis and we haven't published it back to the Sonar Cloud. I mean, I'm just doing it to ensure that my connectivity is fine. So it's already succeeded. Prepare analysis. So no connectivity issues.
In reality also, will they use the Sonar Cloud or any other?
See, we set up the Sonar Cube, right? So that is the on-premise version. Okay.
Okay.
Sonar Cloud is for the organizations which are smaller, okay, who cannot afford, server and then software installations, etc. Okay. So there is no difference. That's the reason we are using it for the demonstration purpose. All smaller organizations use it. Okay. So let's refresh this one. My Sonar Cloud. There is nothing here. Okay, even though the analysis is done because we haven't run it actually. Now let's go and run it. Again, let's go and edit the pipeline. So what's the next task we mentioned? That's run code analysis. We have to add it. So you can go to the job and click on plus symbol and search for Sonar. And we are using the next second task now, run code analysis. And you keep it after the build solution. For the time being, I just want to save some time. So let me disable this test assemblies. Okay. So you need to keep this run code analysis after the build solution task. Okay. Here you don't need to set up anything because we already done the connectivity in the prepare analysis task. Right? This basically use that information in the background and run it actually. So, and these control options, these are common, and this is just a display name. You don't have any configuration to be done. Now let's go and save it. Then let's queue it. So always right, don't go and add all the tasks and try to see the results because you will not learn it actually, what's happening in the back. Now it will run the analysis, but you will not see the results still in the Sonar Cloud because the next one is you need to publish it. Analysis done. So in your free time, if you want to read right what's happening, you just go to the logs and you can basically just see what are all the different things internally it is executed. Of course, it may not be beneficial for you to do your build and release pipelines, but it gives you enough experience basically. What happens in the background? Let us say in future, if you're working on some other tools or something, you may get into issues. But since you already know the what happens in the background, right? You'll be able to better troubleshoot. So run code analysis, it takes a couple of minutes. I mean, it's a small code. You see, I mean, it is analyzing each and everything in my project because I have a JavaScript, I have a HTML, I have a .NET CS files, and many configuration files, right?
In Azure DevOps, we have set up Sonar Cloud. Is it agent or in the under Sonar Cloud? We have been selecting this run code analysis and prepare analysis, etc.
No,
Is it
we did
exactly
not.
agent?
We did not set up the Sonar Cloud in Azure DevOps. What we done was Sonar Cloud is a different one, and Azure DevOps is a different one. We integrated both. The integration happened here. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's go to our Sonar Cloud. Let's refresh it. Published. Let's open it. Oh, got the code actually. Generally, I shouldn't be getting the code. I don't know if any, what do you say, if any new enhancements is done, I don't know. But generally, even last month also when I publish it, until unless I publish it, I don't see the code. I only see some numbers actually. Okay. So this is the code even you see, right? Let me check actually. Let's open and see some of the things. Controllers, home controller.cs. So okay, I'm getting the code as well. Now let's go to the home page itself, overview. So we were talking about the code coverage, code analysis, right? So we were talking about, so these are the different categories, what you see: reliability, security, maintainability, coverage, and duplications. And under security, how it is doing, it is having many number of rules basically, and you can see those rules as well. We will see it in the next classes. We don't do it actually. Okay? Of course, we can also create our own rule, but 99.9% of the time, all the rules available are enough for us. But there might be some projects, very less actually, where they have some unique requirement for that. It's not about a coding standard basically. It's probably some functional requirement where they wanted to make it part of their analysis. It's completely related to the development. Very unique requirements. Not, I mean, hardly, not even 5% people do it. So basically, across all these categories, your Sonar Cube, or I would say Sonar Cloud, verifies your code. and run analysis against the rules with what it has and gives the results. Okay. And then, so we were talking about these issues, right? I mean, so these are all the rules. Okay. We can do many other things as well on top of these rules. We will see them. That's what I'm saying. Just have a look on all these things. You can. There are 44 bugs, 4 smells, and then you have security vulnerabilities, and you have a blockers. So there are, I mean, for every bug, right, if you're a tester, you basically assign some severity, right? Whether it is a blocker or not affecting or less complex, whatever you say. So in the same way, you have major, minor, info, critical. I mean, these are common for any organization for testers actually. So why we need it? Because based on these things, the dev teams can take a call, and we use these things even our code quality gets as well. Okay, these are all different rules, and I mean internally it is using it. Okay, so let me before getting into these details further, let me go ahead and add this task. I don't know why it is giving. So let's go here. Go to build definition. So I was using publish. Sorry, these are quality gate results. Sorry, not the actual results. These are the quality gate results. Okay. Okay. Now what we have done, we created a project build pipeline, and we created a one project with a similar name on the Sonar cloud, and we configured it for the analysis, and we see all the analysis results on the Sonar Cloud dashboard. You don't need to use a term called Sonar Cloud. You can use the Sonar Cube only. And the Sonar Cube dashboard, we see in all these results. Okay, but this is not what we wanted to stop actually. What we wanted to do, we wanted to apply some measures as well. I mean, I want to set up some criteria saying that, okay, if your code is not meeting this criteria, your build is not acceptable. So I will fail it. So that is called code quality gate. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, how you set up? We have the duplications. These are all the different categories, right? Duplications, and then we have some security vulnerabilities, some 50 vulnerabilities, and then coverage. You see the coverage, it is 0%. That means you do not have any unit test cases to cover your the code you developed actually. That means the unit testing is not done. So based on these things, I will set up. Let us say what I would say. If the coverage is less than 80%, fail the build. If the code contains more than 20% duplications, then fail the build. So these are the different rules that you use it. Okay. So for that, you need to create a quality gate first. Okay. So when you set up a Sonar Cube, right, it comes with a default quality gate. Either we can use that or we can create our own, because default gates sometimes it might be very high level, sometimes it might be at a very basic level, but we can go ahead and create our own quality gate as well. So how you create? I mean, when you are in the home page, right, you will not see any options. Let's go to your profile and go to your organization. Then you see all the different options available, different menu items. Okay, this is the easiest way to go, and then go to quality gates. Okay, as I told you, it comes with a default quality gate. The name is SonarWay. Okay, and what are the criteria that it is using? If the coverage is less than 80%, coverage is less than 80%, duplicates is greater than 3%, and some maintainability rating, reliability scale. These are the criteria that's this default quality gate is having. We can use the same thing, or we can create our new one. Okay. So since we haven't associated this with our project, the quality gate is not affected. What I will do now, we'll go and create a new one. Okay, simply for one or two criteria, and we associate that quality gate with our project, and then run the analysis again. Let's go and create a. How do you create? We have this create option, and you can give any name. I'll give the .NET DevOps demo quality gate. You can give anything just for reference, and then you need to add the criteria, right? Criteria is nothing but a condition. So you can go ahead and add conditions. I say not only on the new code, on the overall code, I'm saying, because in your day-to-day, every day you will run it, right? It will maintain that history. So what are the metrics I'm going to use? So I'm going to use the metric. You will have many metrics here. So whatever you see on the dashboard, right? On the SonarQube dashboard, all those are metrics, and all those are available for your quality gate. So for simplicity, I'm just going to use only coverage. Okay, and I'm saying less than, I would say, anyways, I'm having 0%. I would say less than 80%. So I have added one condition that is saying if the code coverage is less than 80%, then fail the bill. That's what I'm going to say. Now you have to associate your project with this quality, then only it will be affected. So under projects, you see this is containing, this box is containing empty. Let's go and search for your projects. So my demo, this is a project I am having. So let's select it. That's it. Done. So I have my default and I have my the newly created quality gate, and I associated this one as well. So when you are having more projects, basically your organization contain more projects, you can I mean that is how you can associate, search for it and associate. Now let's not do anything. Let's go to your home page here. That's it. Let it be like this. Okay. And now let's go ahead and again queue it, because now I associated this one. Let's go and queue it. I mean, we are using free one, right? Sometimes we see the lag. So it basically waits for the machines to be available and then run. Most of the times we don't see.
In the reality, these rules are given by developers, is it right?
No. Developers, no. They don't write. These are all already available with your SonarQube.
If you want to define our custom rules, who is going to define?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 99.99%, there is no need of custom rule, and they are not about, when you're writing a custom rule, it's not about code quality. It could be mostly about your some unique functional requirement that you want to make it part of your analysis, because this has been in the industry for more than 16-17 years, and Microsoft is been adding best practices, contributing to these best practices since all these years.
Okay.
I hardly see, I mean, I created I would say a custom rule around 10 years ago. After that, I never seen any need to add my own custom rule. So basically, you will need some plugins or custom rules, right? When the product is in the early stages. But if it is already in the market for at least even for 2-3 years, you will see all of the things available.
In the bigger organizations like MNCs, rather than using Sonar Cloud, what they will be using? In the
So
smaller
bigger
organizations?
SonarQube, the way we installed software on our laptop, right? They install on the server. There is no difference.
Okay.
So it's all about money.
Hello Purna. I guess you didn't added that task here.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I didn't did it. I did not add it intentionally because we just added. So this analysis is in progress. So now I added my quality gate and I run the analysis. Still, it didn't fail because I have not added the task actually. Let's go and so everything is passed, right? It is passed now. Even though my coverage is 0%, the coverage rule I kept is less than 80%, then fail it. So still it is successful. And you see this 8:55 a.m. just now it is done. Okay. Now let's go and add our edit and go and add a task. Search for Sonar. And this time I'm going to use a publish quality get result. You can keep it even after run code analysis. Okay. Now here also you don't need to set up anything. It is similar to your run code analysis. It already knows the connectivity, how to publish it. Okay. Let's go and save it. And let's fail it. I already kept one task on red color, you see it. So generally it takes, if you are setting it up on your server, right? It's all Java actually. Of course, now it became very easier. I mean, you hardly need to do some keys. We are generating the key from here, right? If you are using some Linux server or something, you have to copy that key in your path actually. There will be your project path. You just have to go and copy it. But if you're using this visualization, right, it's all about thinking. Basically, when you're using Jenkins, here you are spending some 10 minutes. There you may spend 1 hour or so because you have to do some manual things. The process is same, but you have to do it manually. GitLab is another easiest one, but that's expensive. So some people use it. I mean, companies like Novartis, etc., they use GitLab. But again, companies like JPMC, they use their own. They customize it actually. So we'll take additional time, some 15-20 minutes for another 2 weeks, so that we can be on. I mean, if everyone is okay. Then okay, done. So my build is successful. and let's go to my SonarQube. Refresh it. Anything happened? Nothing happened. No change, right? It's paused only. 8:59 a.m. Right? Let's see if you see any difference. I'm going to add one more thing, that red color one, right? No changes, and even I attached my quality gate. Code coverage is less than 80%. Still, it did not affect actually. Let's now move on to the build pipeline, and then what's the next one we were talking about? Break, build, and quality gate failure. So let's go and add a new task. I'll just search for Sonar only because everything will be on that one. Everywhere you see, right, SonarQube and SonarCloud actually, because both are similar. Okay, I'm using SonarCloud Build Breaker. Okay, get it free, and I mean it will tell you the instructions here also. You can see where you are putting it here. Okay, let's go and get it. Install. Then I can go and refresh here. Go back to my task list. Just refresh. Okay, as it come, let me come back here and refresh it. Okay. Click on plus symbol. Sonar. Sorry, and there. Sonar. Then my task is I'm going to use a SonarCloud Build Breaker. Why it is showing? This is by Simon D. I have to get this one. Should be able to add it actually. It has to refresh and give me an option to add it. Let me come out and see. Install, right? On my give me that add option. So, I already installed SonarCloud. So I selected SonarCube. That's okay. I already done it, right? SonarCloud. It's already installed. It is. Yeah, I already installed it. I'm just seeing why it is. I'm taking only this SonarCloud Build Breaker, but it has to give me add option. Okay. Okay. Now I got it. I don't know. It took some time. Let me add it.
Purnachandra, that is for in on-premise environment. I think it is not for Sonar Cloud environment. Why?
I'm
Because we
removing.
have installed both.
I'm removing. I'm removing. That's my. Both are starting with the same name, right? So it's a confusion. Okay. So break, build, and quality gate failure. Okay. And then because we already established the connection, I can see in the drop down. Done. And then my organization. Done. Okay. These are common tasks for every common options for every task. Okay. Let's not do anything else. Let's go and save. Done. Everything starts with the same name. Click there and here. So basically now my build should be failing here itself. Same. They're available. Okay. So these tasks are available in your Azure DevOps, not on the Sonar. SonarQube is only a server where it runs its software. It doesn't know anything about your tasks. So these tasks are created from organizations, right? And you are basically integrated. So this task is talking to both your Azure DevOps and as well as your SonarQube with the connection what we made. Hmm. Same. No, no, same setting. So right now, what I did, sonarcloud.io, right? So you will be having your sonarcube your organization.name. There is no difference. So I mean, last week we installed the sonarcube, right? Do you see any differences in terms of options, anything? There is no difference. Whatever you are doing it here is same, even on the sonarcube. Hey, it's not failed. It has to be failed. Let me see if I done any mistake in my quality gate. This is the .NET DevOps, right? Actually, now it should have been failed both here and there. It's not failed. Probably that is the issue with my quality gate that I created. Okay. Let me go to my quality gates. Let me revisit what I done. I don't know why, because it's already 0%. It should give me actually. Let me add another condition. Say, are there any duplicate lines? duplicate lines percentage. There are many things here. Less is greater than 20%. There I have the duplicate lines percentage and then duplicate lines as well. Okay, so I just taken that percentage. Let me go to my what do you say? So here I having 53% duplications, right? Okay, I'll come to quality gate. Okay, greater than 20%. Okay, this is already assessed with my this one. Okay, now let's go and queue it. My expectation is that it should fail the bill because I mentioned the criteria is like that. While it is running, I'll just go and see what it is. Let's edit. Condition coverage. Actually, we selected something called condition coverage, not the code coverage, I guess. Okay, that's the we have hundreds there, more than 100. I only seen this word coverage. I just selected it. Okay, anyways, this time I given duplicate lines percent. It should fail. Most of the times you will be using these duplicate lines and then the security violations, right? How that ratings, whatever is it, and that one, and probably you'll be using this unit under coverage only. All the unit tests and everything comes. More than maximum these 3-4 actually, not more than that. Because if you have to use it more, right, then you have to be in the what do you say product organizations, not in the consulting organizations. Only product people follow strict this code quality. But everything is self-explanatory. I mean, that SonarQube documentation talks about each and every metric. Somebody asks you, you just need to. Anyways, they come up with a requirement, and this is a self-explanatory. We can just simply go and select and see in our sample code. For every on-premise version, you have online version. We will do the database stuff as well. Upcoming classes.
Here, why we have used this endpoint 2 times, and I think one.
What's that?
So we have integrated endpoint 2 times now. One is for Sonar Cloud, other for breaking the phone. Is it right?
No. That's the only one endpoint we created. We are using it. Okay, guys. Now you see. Now you see an error here. The analysis did not pass the quality gate because at least one analysis has a status error. Okay. Now let's go to our home page. Click on the bills. The bill is failed. Okay. Now let's go back to projects. Yeah. Fail. Okay. So I mean, I took some different condition which we don't actually. Okay. Now, so now our quality gate is also containing this role. Duplicate percentage of lines. There are other conditions, number of lines as well. I think 4 categories are there. So since I am seeing here percentages, I taken this percentage condition. So this is how you basically create a quality gate. This is called a code quality gate. So you create a code quality gate, and based on the criteria what you mentioned, either you can fail the bill or you can make the bill successful. Okay. If somebody, okay, you created this one. If somebody, some team asks you, okay, I don't want this quality gate, then you go to that quality gate and disassociate that project from there. So you have the quality gate still there. Whenever they want, you can associate that. So this is how you create a sonar cube and then sonar cube analysis, and you give that attention to that placement of your task before and after. Okay, and we just created a quality gate with one criteria, right? So you can go and probably explore one after, and everything is drop down and drop down, right? There is no writing action. Okay. So go and explore the quality gate other conditions, and we have some advanced, some other advanced concepts in sonar cube as well that we will be covering from tomorrow. Takes another two sessions that we can close the sonar cube, and then we can move on to the other. Guys, any questions so far?
A duplication of the code means normally how the code is duplication, I don't know.
That's a developer, right? You copy paste the code, so people do not make it reusable. So there are concepts in the code reusability. If they don't reuse, that will become duplicate. That's
Okay.
nothing. I mean, that doesn't matter to you.
Okay.
All you
That is
need to do is you have to fail it. That's it.
reusability. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's a programming concept. I mean, but you don't need to know about it. All you need to know is how to fail it. Any other questions?
Hi, Purna.
Yeah.
So, in my organization, we have these projects like cross dependency build projects, or there are some projects like we need to manually add some third party DLLs to the solution for the first time to build. So,
Mhm.
how can I achieve those things here?
So it is okay. I can give you. I can tell you how to do. See, it's a mode of development rather than development choice rather than DevOps choice. So one day is if you are having DLLs, right? So we have the Nugget. We are using Nugget, right? I don't know what DLL,
Yes.
what DLLs you are using. Okay. If you go to your build definition, okay, this is one place where developers download their packages. Okay, like DLLs or something. Okay. If there is, can you go on mute, please? Okay. So, I mean, if the
I didn't get you.
developers are
Sorry.
access, yeah, if the developers see if it is a DLL or any usable component, they have added it to their project, right? So in the Visual Studio, they have added. Go to the Solution Explorer. And these are the this is the place, right, where they add their system or third party libraries. Whatever the process the developers are using, we have to use it in the same way. If you are talking about cross projects or something, right, say there are best practices basically. Okay, one, whether they are using they're keeping the projects in the same solution or in the different solution. If they use the concepts like NuGet or something, they don't need to worry about this dependency management. If they don't use the best practices like NuGet or something, then they have to worry because they have to keep the DLL somewhere on some shared folder, and they have to refresh, and the paths will not match and they will fail because your server paths are different, your laptop path is different, and you need to make it very manual way. So that's where you have these concepts, NuGet. So your developers have to use it. That's the best way to manage the dependency management. And this is not a new concept. This has been there since more than 10 years.
Okay, in our organization, we use something called Solar and Redis services. So, further, they add some third party DLLs.
How do
So,
they add it?
In the bin folder, they place those DLLs directly. That's it.
So yeah, that is not right, because let us say you have your bin folder on your local laptop. It might be my laptop IP and some D folder, some etc. Right? But on the server there may not be D folder. So your path will change and it will fail. Be it Redis or any third-party DLL, right? They have to use these concepts, NuGet. They have to keep it in the NuGet. So see, these are some best practices which I should not be telling the developers, because every project will work in their own way. But I'm just giving you some clues. As long as you are keeping it manually in some folders, there are more chances for failure. Okay, but if you want to do the same thing from your build pipeline, you can do that one. You can copy to some server, and from that server you can copy to your build folder. But it requires a lot of customization. You have to use PowerShell scripts, okay, to copy from one server to your build folder. PowerShell scripts that will come into picture, but that's not advisable. Use a PowerShell script to manage your configurations, like server configurations or any IIS configuration, not to manage your back practices.
Okay. So, is there any guideline for me so that
Yeah, you
I
can
can
tell.
push those DLLs to Nugget? Nugget.
Exactly. So in the Azure DevOps, you have the artifacts. We haven't come to that one. Basically, I covered it at the end of the session. Azure artifacts.
Okay.
Okay. So we can use that area for this kind of dependency management, because it's easier to do. If you are using some other mechanism, you may do it in a 1 day or 2 day. But if you are using this Azure artifacts, it might be an hour.
Okay.
We will talk about it. After we finish this CI/CD and some other PowerShell and these concepts, because that's more of a development rather than administration.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions? Okay, guys. There are no questions. We'll close it for today, and we will continue the other concepts on the Sonar piece tomorrow. Have a good day. Thank you.